what's love got to do with it? This is not a remake
of
the...
What does love have to do with it?
Yeah, this is not a remake of the 90s film. This is a British movie about Pakistani British culture and British culture. This stars Lily James, who was Pamela Anderson, and she was Cinderella. So this is an actress with a really big range. It also has Emma Thompson as Lily James' mom, but this is also Shazad Latif, if I'm pronouncing his name right, hopefully Shazad Latif as the romantic lead interest character. He is literally the guy next door who has grown up and is somehow still single, despite being a doctor and good looking, and right next to her the entire time, Lily James the entire time. So she is a documentary filmmaker who follows Shazad Latif's, or his character's name, Kazim, through the arranged marriage process, and to see whether he goes through it or not, and to see whether he realizes that she was there, in front of him, the entire time. So this is, it looks like a fun British rom-com. You get all the cool accents. You get a different culture from North American kind of culture. So it is kind of all of that, a little bit of Bollywood musical mixed in for good measure. It looks, and I love Lily James. I think she's she always does something that's interesting at the very least. So Lily James, Emma Thompson, Shazad Latif. This looks like a lot of fun. It doesn't look like it's too heavy. It looks like an easy watch, and it has a lot of cool British accents and British and Pakistani culture kind of mixing all of that together.
One of the reasons it didn't make my list, even though I'm with you, big fan of Emma Thompson, of Lily James. It looks funny. It's called all the stuff a rom-com should. That said, it's got some of the tired tropes of rom-coms under my eyes. It was the next door neighbor. And while it looks like it may not actually go there, I'm like, well, I'm not going to a theater for that. I'll wait until streaming, especially for something that I think may actually be a lazy setup, not necessarily lazy writing. You get into the dangerous world of like, is this going to be a bunch of an excuse to laugh at brown people? Oh, look, it's the brown person making a joke about themselves. Like Jemima Goldsmith, known as Jemima Khan, who actually she was married to Imran Khan. She is a Pakistani and English citizen, but here's the thing: she is bougie AF. She comes from her father is Sir James Goldsmith and mother Lady Annabelle. Like, it's just, multiple, like, there's fucking, pardon my poor language, there's like 3 hyphens in this woman's last name. Vane Tempest Stewart. It's like, yeah, this is and even, Imran Khan is, big, was a is a politician, was the prime minister of Pakistan. There's going to be some corruption and just outright extrajudicial killings of dissidents in that resume. This is not somebody who's like, oh, I'm like regular people. I don't know. There's my politics coming out.
Well,
but that said, I am a fan of Lily James. And so I'm like, I'm going to see it. That's going to happen, but not in the theater. So for all those reasons, Brian, I'm not seeing this movie in the theater, but I'm still going to see it.
Your thoughts on Shekhar Kapur, the director of the film?
I saw The Four Feathers, Elizabeth the Golden Age. saw some of that. But he also did Elizabeth. So it's not
So
like
did a lot of
he's
people.
without skills, you know? Like, I mean, that was a great film. Elizabeth, the Golden Age, less so. The Four Feathers, not the comedy of cross-cultural or cultural conflict comedy, probably be handled with some sensitivity and maybe some realism, you know, but still.
It looks like that this is not going to be old school, old world parents coming down hard on their adult children. I think that trope of all things has been played out many, many times before. This looks like it's more like, well, if the traditional dating scene hasn't worked for you, what about an arranged marriage? It worked in our family. We love you. We want you, we want you to find a good person. So the fact that their families are being supportive in or at least it looks like the families are being supportive.
I'm going to quote The Big Bang Theory. Fuck's sakes. Sorry, my friend.
You're bringing up Raj in season 12?
I am referring to Raj, who went through, says, you know what, this isn't working. Can you do a deal for me? And I even know Indo-Canadians from India and from Pakistan, and the way they've discussed it is, oh, that's a love match. That was arranged. Actually, I remember when I was in Istanbul on a boat sitting by this Bahraini who was asking me for love advice because, you can tell how desperate he was. But he was like, I'd rather do a love match. But after seeing his game on the boat, I was like, yeah, you should maybe go to your folks and see what they can work out for you. So I think the way we look at it as, the folks making you do something you don't want to do is in the part of the world that this is part of the scene, the culture, it's more of an option. And so if it's handled that way, and if that's part of the education that can happen in a film, sometimes accidentally, it could be really interesting. Still didn't make my list, but I'm certainly not going, what?
They're busy professionals. They don't have a ton of time for dating, and they may not just have that social skill set as well. So this is sort of an interesting look at, in a modern sense, when people aren't being forced, when people are choosing to take this route, is this an option for people that are either workaholics that have great careers, but not a lot of time to socialize, or B, don't have a lot of the social skills that you need to be a successful dater in order to get that marriage and have a family.
Yeah. You know what? I'm not sure I would go that far. I think it's because that's a culturally bound practice. It's also it's a materialist practice. It'd be an interesting discussion to have before do an over-analysis of this film.
Yes.
We'll save that for them.
Yeah.
It'll be the next time we have you on as we do a deep dive on what's love got to do with it.
Absolutely.
It is an interesting riff on the title.